So Jordan had no bag?
I didn't say no bag. I just don't think
Kobe
he
and Jordan aren't bag guys.
1-2 dribble pull-ups.
Kobe had a
No
bag,
bag.
The definition of bag to me is having a barrage of moves to get to the cup or score the ball, period. To say Michael Jordan has a limited bag, but he was arguably the best scorer in our history is what the f is the definition of a bag then? And then if I'm being honest,
It's like so many different ways
Let me get this off, man. These today don't even know how to score. Have a move and then bring it back and remix it, and it's a bunch of that, bro. We talking about putting the ball in the bucket.
Someone actually said Michael Jordan couldn't really score, and you need to sit with that for a second. The man holds the highest scoring average in NBA history, 10 scoring titles hang from his resume, 6 championships came with 6 finals MVPs attached, and somehow in 2024 former NBA players went on podcasts claiming his offensive game was limited. What happened next turned into one of the most heated basketball debates we've seen in years, with legends who actually guarded Jordan coming out of retirement just to shut this nonsense down. The whole thing started on a podcast called No Fouls Given when Paul Pierce casually dropped a bomb that would set the basketball world on fire. Jordan had a very limited bag, according to Pierce, who tried to frame it within the context of today's game and argued that compared to modern guards, Jordan's moveset was basic and nothing special. That's not how the internet heard it, though, and the clip went viral within hours, where other former players started piling on instead of letting the controversy die down.
So Jordan had no bag?
I didn't say no bag. I just don't think
Kobe
he
and Jordan aren't bag guys.
1-2 dribble pull-ups.
Kobe had a
No
bag.
bag.
Kobe.
So the other day, P, we want to pull some quotes from you, and your quote was that you thought Michael Jordan had a very limited bag. I would like you to expand on that.
Well, in today's
You talking about today's game?
In today's game,
Okay, so you analyze. Hold on, let me
consider-
set it up. So you analyzing Michael Jordan's game in today's game,
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. Okay,
Not in
so
his-
that so
not
that
in
needs
his
to be
day.
said. That needs to be said.
Yeah, so
gotcha.
yeah, that's why I was kind of taken out.
But in the context, we just put it in. We put it in the bar now. Okay.
Danny Green jumped into the conversation and made things worse by claiming Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has more of a bag than Jordan ever did. Chandler Parsons came through next with his take that James Harden's offensive repertoire was deeper than anything Jordan possessed. 3 former NBA players delivered 3 ridiculous takes, and suddenly fans everywhere were debating whether the greatest scorer in basketball history actually knew how to score. The basketball world split into 2 camps almost immediately after the clips spread. Younger fans who grew up watching YouTube highlights started agreeing with Pierce because to them, having a bag means crossover step backs and dribbling the ball 15 times before taking a shot. Older fans and actual NBA legends saw this completely differently though, and to them Pierce had just exposed everything wrong with how modern basketball fans evaluate greatness.
The less athleticism you have, the more things you need to add to do the same thing as someone who's very athletic. He has to have the up and unders and stuff like this, but MJ's bag came in a whole different form. And when we talk about bags, we only think dribbling moves.
Shai is not athletic. He has to have all that. They're right. Mike had that one gift. Jump the over you.
I agree that he has a deeper bag. Jordan's bag, it was very elite. Your aerial movement is a bag. Your 360 moving, all this is considered a bag when he was getting ready to shoot. It was aerial. So it's a very different bag. So it's really kind of hard to compare.
But when it comes to an offensive bag compared to a guy like SGA,
Gilbert Arenas was one of the first to respond with a breakdown that cut right to the heart of the issue. He acknowledged something important first. The players like Kyrie Irving do have deeper dribbling packages than Jordan did, and that's technically true. But then Arenas explained why none of that matters. The less athleticism you have, the more moves you need to accomplish the same thing as someone who's naturally dominant. Jordan didn't need 15 dribble moves because physical and mental superiority over everyone on the court was already his, and he could walk into any arena with 2 moves and still give you 40 points. That's not a limited bag, that's efficiency at its highest level. Arenas kept going on social media to make sure everyone understood the difference between entertainment and effectiveness. Modern fans confused the two somewhere along the way and started believing that dribbling the ball 50 times before shooting is somehow better than getting to your spot quickly and putting the ball in the basket. Scoring is about results though, and nobody in history got better results than Michael Jordan. Breaking down what Jordan could actually do on the court makes the limited bag argument fall apart completely. Start with the fadeaway jumper that Jordan took from 12-time All-Star Elvin Hayes and turned into the most unstoppable weapon basketball had ever seen. The mechanics were perfect, with the turn over either shoulder, the body bump to push the defender backward and create space, then the release at the peak when nobody could contest it. During his final 2 seasons with the Washington Wizards, Jordan was 38 and 39 years old with significantly declined athleticism, and he couldn't explode to the rim like he used to. 82% on fadeaway jumpers is what he shot at nearly 40 years old, though, which is something only someone with complete mastery of their craft pulls off. The mid-range game that Pierce specifically mocked was actually the most efficient weapon in basketball when Jordan took that pull-up jumper off 1 or 2 dribbles. Getting to his spot faster than defenders could react meant he didn't need extra dribbles with no wasted motion and no wasted energy, just pure scoring efficiency that nobody could stop. Modern players take 15 dribbles to create the same amount of space Jordan created with 2, which isn't Jordan being limited, but Jordan being smarter. The postgame tells another story entirely about Jordan's evolution as a scorer. Coming back from his baseball retirement meant transforming his entire approach, bulking up to 215 pounds and becoming absolutely dominant with his back to the basket. This wasn't the same player who left, but an evolved scorer with an entirely new dimension to his game. At 40 years old, Jordan became the only player in NBA history to average over 20 points per game at that age, and that record still stands alone. Three-point shooting wasn't about volume for Jordan the way it is for modern guards launching 8 threes per game. 42% from deep during one season proved he absolutely could shoot when the situation called for it. Like the shrug game in the finals saw Jordan hit 6 three-pointers in the first half alone, setting a finals record at the time, and then he looked at the broadcast table and shrugged like even he couldn't believe what was happening. That's not a player who lacked range, but a player who chose to attack defenses in the most efficient way possible.
I think when you look at guys like Tracy, Vince, Ray, Iverson, like, dog, them guys would be unstoppable in this era. You know, they didn't settle for threes. They was getting 50, 60 points with like 2 threes.
And you think those guys you just named had a deeper bag than Mike?
Vince, I think, had a deeper bag than Mike because he can do everything Mike can do, and his threes was more.
We're talking about Michael Jordan, too.
Yeah,
right?
Michael Jordan, his bag was athletic bag. Like, nobody had a better athletic bag. Like, in the air, he did too many things.
The numbers make this entire debate look ridiculous when you examine what Jordan accomplished with this supposedly limited game. 30.1 points per game for his career isn't second place or even close to second place. It's the highest scoring average in NBA history that nobody else has ever touched. 10 scoring titles overall set an NBA record, with Wilt Chamberlain sitting in second place at 7. 7 straight years saw Jordan claim those titles consecutively, meaning nobody on the planet could outscore him during that stretch, and that kind of sustained dominance has never been matched. Playoff basketball is where Jordan's scoring actually went up when the games mattered most. Defenses tighten in the postseason. Teams game plan specifically to stop star players, and every possession matters more. 33.4 points per game is what Jordan averaged in that environment, the highest playoff scoring average in NBA history. Teams knew exactly what was coming and built their entire defensive strategy around stopping him, and Jordan still couldn't be contained. 6 finals appearances produced 6 championships for a perfect record on the biggest stage. 33.6 points per game was his final scoring average while shooting nearly 50% from the field. Every single time Jordan reached the championship round, he walked away with the trophy. No Game 7s lost, no close calls, just pure domination. When everything was on the line, 49.7% from the field for his entire career represents elite efficiency on massive volume against defenses specifically designed to stop him. Modern players with their deep bags and fancy dribble moves would kill for that kind of efficiency, and most of them don't come close. The era Jordan played in was completely different from today's game, and the limited bag crowd never wants to discuss this context. Hand-checking was legal when Jordan dominated the league, which means defenders could literally put their hands on you and physically guide you wherever they wanted. Above the free throw line, you were getting pushed, grabbed, and bumped on every single possession. Fancy crossovers don't work the same way when a defender has his hand on your hip, steering you toward help defense. The league didn't strictly ban hand-checking until the mid-2000s, and the impact showed up immediately in the scoring statistics. League scoring jumped from 93 points per game to over 97 points per game almost overnight, with the same players suddenly becoming better scorers because defenders couldn't touch them anymore. Kenny Smith explained this perfectly when he said the hand check rule is the single biggest reason why players from Jordan's era would dominate even more in today's game. Modern guards need elaborate dribbling packages because they're trying to create space without defenders being allowed to make contact. Jordan created space while a defender's hand was literally on his body pushing him around, and he dealt with physical punishment that would get players ejected from today's games. Over 30 points per game for his career came against that level of defense. Pierce, talking about Jordan having a limited bag compared to today's players, ignores the most important context of all. Today's players have never experienced what Jordan went through every single night and they've never had to score against defenses that could legally assault them on every possession.
The definition of bag to me is having a barrage of moves to get to the cup or score the ball, period. To say Michael Jordan has a limited bag, but he was arguably the best scorer in our history is what the fuck is the definition of a bag then? And then if I'm being honest,
it's like so many different ways.
Let me get this off, man. These niggas today don't even know how to score. A nigga have a move and then bring it back and remix it, and it's a bunch of that, bro. We talking about putting the ball in the bucket.
That's what they call a bag, though.
Bro, I'm talking about the essence of scoring the ball.
Yeah.
MJ, his bag was 1, 2, 3 pull up, 1 dribble pull up, getting by you dunking the ball, 3 ball, whatever the fuck, spin, post shit, however you want it, Lord. Like, man, y'all sound crazy on here, man.
I think a bag is based around your handles.
Man, what are you talking about?
That's what the internet feels like it is, and that's why I wanted you to set the criteria.
Listen,
I think a bag, they say, is
all
based
these
around your
niggas who
handles.
got a nigga and beat him, and then remix it, bring it back. To me, that's incompetence.
Richard Jefferson added another layer to this conversation that deserves attention because he played in both eras and understands something fundamental about basketball evolution. Players become more efficient as they get smarter, and that's the natural progression of greatness.
As basketball players get smarter, they become more efficient. That's really what it is. Allen Iverson used to be at the top of the key doing all of this. That's what he did when he first came into the league. Then he learned, then the Iverson cut came, and they basically ran him across the middle, and they go, either go or stop. So he didn't have to do all the dancing anymore, became more efficient. MJ, you go back and watch MJ, there's the famous clip of him going between his legs and stopping and dropping when he was doing 61 in the Garden, or 61 against the Boston Celtics. Y'all seen the video where he's doing this back in 85 and stopping, wopping. He realized he didn't have to burn that much energy.
Jefferson used Allen Iverson as an example of this principle in action. Early in his career, Iverson would stand at the top of the key doing crazy dribble moves for 15 seconds before attacking, which looked incredible, and fans loved it. Iverson eventually learned he didn't need all that extra movement, though, and the famous Iverson cut became his signature because it was quick, efficient, and deadly. Dancing stopped, and dominating started. Jordan understood this from the beginning of his career. Famous footage exists of him doing between-the-legs dribbles and fancy moves early on, proving he had all the flashy skills. Realizing quickly that the most effective way to score wasn't the most entertaining way changed his approach, though. Why waste energy on 15 dribbles when 2 dribbles got you to the exact same spot? Jefferson called this the separation between legends and players who just look good on Instagram highlights. Jordan had the fancy moves and could do everything, but he possessed the intelligence to use only what was necessary. That's not limitation, that's mastery. Comparing Jordan's supposedly limited game to the players with deep bags that everyone loves to praise reveals a very different story through the numbers. Kyrie Irving is considered one of the most skilled ball handlers in NBA history, with an absolutely elite dribbling package that nobody questions. 24.7 points per game is his career scoring average, though, which sits 6 full points lower than Jordan's career average. 6 points per game over an entire career represents a massive gap, and all those incredible moves and creativity still can't match what Jordan did with his basic game. James Harden was specifically mentioned by Chandler Parsons as having a deeper bag than Jordan, and Harden's 28,000 plus career points are genuinely impressive. Playing more seasons than Jordan to reach that total matters, though, and more importantly, Harden never won a championship as the best player on his team. All those step-backs, Euro steps, and creative moves produced 0 rings as the main guy, while Jordan went 6 for 6. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's having an absolutely incredible season right now, and Danny Green claimed his bag is deeper than Jordan's. One great season doesn't erase 15 years of sustained dominance, though. Jordan didn't have 1 good year or 5 good years. He was the best scorer in basketball for over a decade straight. Maintaining this level for the next 15 years needs to happen before these comparisons make any sense. The term bag became basketball's most misunderstood word somewhere along the way. Your repertoire of moves and arsenal of skills is what it's supposed to describe, but it turned into code for how many unnecessary dribbles you can do before taking a shot. Entertainment value started mattering more than actual results.
People who know how to score the ball. They don't play with food. Like, if you can get to the cup and dunk the ball, you dunk it every time, right? So if you can, you do that. All right, cool. If he cuts you off, you can cross him over, boom, right? A bag is being able to be in traffic and make a traffic decision, and boom, you make it right there. You know, I faced up, boom, he went middle, I saw him middle, I gave it. So, and then on top of it, Michael Jordan was one of the more aggressor offensive players. Oh, man, can't nobody guard that motherfucker today. Mike would grab your face if you tried to jump before him, bro. This nigga would grab your arm. Like, man, listen, man, I'm sorry. I respect every era. and I'm going to keep respecting every era. Y'all need to go back and watch some of that young Mike Jordan. Y'all need to go watch that Mike Jordan who went up against Larry Bird. You know what I'm talking about? That went up against the Pistons. And with physical play, by the way. And was downhill. And when he needed a three, he could hit a three. And he hit game winners. And he came back from 15 down in the fourth. And yeah, man, what? And then he was a goon. He was a real nigga. Y'all got me fucked up in here, boy. Y'all better put some respect on Mike's name. Boy, stop saying goofy shit, man. That's goofy as hell. Mike Jordan ain't got a bag, P? Man, stop, man.
LeBron James, stepping into this debate earlier in the year, says everything about how absurd it became. LeBron and Jordan are constantly compared as the two greatest players ever, and they're supposed to be rivals in the GOAT conversation. People starting to say Jordan had a limited bag was too much for even his biggest rival to accept, though. LeBron pointed out the obvious, that Jordan wasn't out there dribbling 1,000 times to get to his spot, but instead got there efficiently and rose up for the shot. People say the same thing about LeBron on social media, according to him, claiming LeBron has no bag despite having something like 50 billion points. Judging scoring ability by dribble moves instead of actual scoring was absurdity that even Jordan's competition couldn't let slide.
Michael Jordan wasn't out there dribbling 1,000 times, to get to the spot. He'd get to a spot and raise. I see it all the time. It's like, I'll be on social media, it's like, LeBron has no bag. It's like, I'm sitting over here with
What is that?
LeBron has no bag, and I'm sitting like I have 50 billion points.
The legends who played against Jordan told the real story when they weighed in. Larry Bird watching Jordan drop 63 points on the Celtics in the playoffs didn't lead to criticism of the dribbling package. Bird's famous words were that they just witnessed God disguised as Michael Jordan. Magic Johnson evaluating Jordan's game didn't involve breaking down the moveset and finding it lacking either, with Magic simply saying, "There's Michael Jordan, and then there's the rest of us." Two of the greatest players in history competed against Jordan and lost to Jordan, and they understood exactly what made him special. Neither one of them ever suggested his game was limited in any way. Paul Pierce had to come back and clarify his comments after the internet backlash reached critical mass, going on another podcast with Kevin Garnett to clean up the mess he created. Pierce explained that when he thinks about players with bags, names like Kyrie and Harden come to mind immediately because these guys need multiple moves to get going. Jordan didn't need multiple moves, though. He could just blow right by you with one dribble, pull up, fadeaway, bucket. Pierce's clarification still missed the point entirely, though. Admitting that Jordan could dominate with fewer moves doesn't support the limited bag argument. It destroys it. Scoring more efficiently with less effort makes Jordan better, not worse. Needing 15 moves to accomplish what Jordan did with 3 isn't a flex, it's an admission that you're not as good.
No, nobody said he didn't have no bag.
Y'all said he had a limited bag.
Because he didn't need a bag. He was so
Definition of bag.
He was so athletic.
Definition
and
of
so
bag.
much better that he could just one dribble pull up on you.
Man. Definition of bag.
I think it has something to do with like you got to take 20 dribbles and get the moves off and score. That's what this era is. I can care less about a bag. I ain't saying not having a bag ain't good.
Man, you got to have a bag. If you scoring anything over 20,000, 30,000, bro, you got to have a bag. You understand? Because they're going to put the best stopper on you.
Did Shaq have a bag?
Shaq had a bag? Shaq was winning all dunks. Shaq had a jump hook, a left.
Dream had a bag.
Fuck out of here. Okay, that's what I'm saying. Shaq dunked the ball majority of the time, but he had a jump hook. He had a left hand. He had a fadeaway. What you talking about? Dream had moves.
Could we establish, if you're at the top of the scouting report and you're finding a way to score 25, 30
you got a bag.
You got a bag?
Absolutely. You got to.
I don't know. Well, we got to ask this new generation.
Okay.
Because the new generation defines it different.
The new generation.
I think he got a bag, but the way they say it is like no bag.
The new generation not educated. Go do y'all education first.
That's why they come here.
I'm doing this based off the new. This is all based off the new generation, by the way.
Okay. So more context that you base it off of what the narrative is.
You not spoke to so many young people, you speaking for them.
No, I'm just going on what they say.
Man.
Even with all these deep bags in today's era and rules that favor offensive players more than ever in history, none of these modern players are averaging 30 points per game for their careers. None of them have 10 scoring titles, and none of them average over 33 in the playoffs. The players with the deepest bags in basketball can't match what Jordan accomplished with his supposedly basic game. The whole controversy exposed something important about how modern fans evaluate basketball. Style started mattering more than substance. Looking cool became more valuable than getting results. And dribbling for 15 seconds before taking a contested shot became more impressive than getting to your spot in 2 dribbles and rising up for an automatic bucket. 6 championships don't lie though, and the numbers back that up completely. The perfect finals record doesn't lie either. 32,292 career points and the highest scoring average in NBA history tell the real story. The legends who actually played against Michael Jordan and witnessed his greatness firsthand aren't lying when they defend him. Jordan had every move in the book, including the fadeaway, the post-game, the mid-range, and the three-point shot when needed. The intelligence and efficiency to use only what was necessary to completely dominate made him special. And he didn't need flash because he had something better in results that nobody has ever matched. Gilbert Arenas put it best in his response to the whole debate when he said Jordan's bag was better than everybody else's bag in his era, and he could walk into any arena with 2 moves and drop 40 on you. Nobody gets to call your game limited when you can do that. Jordan's bag wasn't the problem, and his opponent's inability to stop him was. That's the real truth this whole controversy revealed, and the greatest scorer ever didn't need validation from podcast takes because his legacy was already written in 6 championship banners and a record book full of numbers nobody else will ever touch.